Choose you this day whom you will serve. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. It's the Budgie Buddies, Joshua J and K, with some new lighting and some new toys. And it turns out the simplest things in life seem to be the most pleasurable for the little parrots. Enjoy.
How it works. So when we tear it open, we drain all the fluid out.
Well, the audio for this turned out to be really terrible, so I'm gonna just go ahead and do a little bit of narration and play some background music while you enjoy the Budgie Buddies J and K. I've got some exciting things for them today. I went ahead and decided to take some of my clothesline I had left over and tie it up and try to make some perches for them to give them a little more variety, but unfortunately, as you can see, they have a little trouble with it, so it didn't last very long. Then I figured out a simple piece of wood, a little block of wood I had sitting around left over from a project or something, and I said, hey, they could go in the back to the bed where I got the little headrest and chew on it all day long by the parrot perch. And I got the back room closed off recently because the fan gave up, and I just got tired of going back there and cleaning up their mess, setting it up and taking it down every day, and just wanted a little break. So I decided to try to bring a little bit of their favorite activities back there up front. So that's what that little block of wood is for. And now, as you can see up by the window there, along the back side of the cage, is another little block of wood, a little bit bigger. So they got, again, more variety and kind of trying to, copy what I got going on in the back. I moved the clothesline and put a lot of tension on it to see if it would make a better perch, and it kind of does, it kind of doesn't. And of course, being right there, it gets up in my way getting in and out the door. So it's just temporary to try it out. Or I can tie it up and untie it if it was going to work. I don't think it is, but I'm going to try to make some kind of, swing or perch right there that's solid. It doesn't twist around so they can balance on it. Because that's actually a good spot, because I got a piece of flooring right there that I can just mop or wipe up, versus the carpeting and everything, or the sheets and mattress on my bed that, again, I got to cover up. Or even my side chair over by the window on the other side. It's, I got to put a covering on that if I have the mirror hanging from the ceiling over there for them to hang on, which I've recently taken that down too, because I put some insulation on my ceiling, and, I just didn't feel like putting another hole and trying to mount it up on the ceiling. So here we go, something else for some variety. I said, well, since that clothesline isn't going to work, let's try this extra swing I got laying around. Tried it a couple of different spots. It's not their favorite, but maybe they'll get used to it. Same with that little brown thing you see sitting in there. I found that in a drawer, one of their old favorites that had fallen apart, so I put it back together and tied it up for them. And there's that little block of wood. I'm telling you, they love that little tiny little block of wood. Absolutely love it. They spent probably half the time on that block of wood versus, a few minutes here and there on everything else. They really do watch it. Just sit there and swap out. Stand up on it, hang out, and then they'll swap out. See? Look at that. Isn't that silly? I love them though. But sometimes I don't. KK. Boy, I tell you what. Like I said, people tell you to just leave their food dishes in there all the time for them, and KK got a bad habit of whenever he get bored, he'd just go in there and sit on the food dish and just eat and eat and eat till he got to the point of what I believe to be, Budgie obesity. And I've been having him on a diet, and, it's a challenge, I guess when you spend years, being used to just eat all the time whenever you're bored, anyway, he's got a bad habit now of just chirp, 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 like a smoke detector battery going dead in the alarm every 30 or 40 seconds. It's very frustrating. So I've got the squirt bottle out and try to get him out of that. But I tell you what, it's a habit that's hard to break and may never be able to break. And I'll be honest, it's got me frustrated to the point where I'm actually, I don't want him anymore. I really don't. I mean, I do and I don't. You know, I'm stuck with him. I bought him. I made the obligation, you know, to death do us part kind of thing. But, you know, if somebody came along and, you know, was good with taking care of birds and wanted him, I'd give him up. You know, I'd even let Jay go, as much as I love Jay, so he could stay with Kay, because I'm telling you, that smoke alarm beep is just so frustrating. And I'm doing everything, as you can see, putting all kinds of toys and even giving him as much attention lately as as I can. But I'm just maybe I'm not a good enough owner, and I can admit that, you know. But I try, and I'm better than most, I imagine. I really care, and in fact, like I said, I care enough to, to not do anything more than squirt the bird with some water when he starts squawking too much, and and you know what though, they're smart and they're interesting little birds. Sometimes they'll switch out. Jay will, when I'm not looking, will chirp to try to get me to get Kay, or sometimes back and forth. Sometimes Jay has problems. Sometimes I got to separate the trays. Sometimes Jay will feed Kay when I'm not looking. Just Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that video at least as much as I enjoy life to make it so far. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you care to, and stay tuned. There's more to come. I got some new speakers and new stereo that causes its own kinds of trouble, and there's a project workshop camper going on, and who knows what else is going on. See you next time. Bye.